So let's talk about a huge question. What actually makes a school a great school? We all kind of know it's about more than just stellar exam scores, right? Well, India's Central Board of Secondary Education, the CBSE, has rolled out a whole new framework designed to measure exactly that. Let's dive in and see what it's all about. Here's our game plan. First, we'll tackle that big question. What does a great school even look like? Then, we're going to unpack this new report card for schools, breaking it down into its 7 key pillars. We'll also look at how schools get graded, what the ultimate goal, the ideal student, looks like, and why this is all about a continuous journey, not a final destination. All right, so let's start right at the beginning with that fundamental question. When you picture the absolute perfect school for a kid, what pops into your head? Is it all about topping the charts in every exam? Or is there a much bigger, more meaningful story to tell? Seriously, take a second and think about it. What are your non-negotiables? If you had to jot down the top 3 things that, for you, truly define a quality school, what would make your list? Let's see how it lines up. You're probably thinking of stuff just like this, right? Amazing teachers who inspire you, a place that feels safe, maybe some modern facilities. And of course, you want to see happy students who are actually engaged in what they're doing. Yeah, that all sounds about right. But what if I told you there's now a formal system designed to measure all of this, and a whole lot more? And that brings us to the CBSE's big answer. It's called the School Quality Assessment and Assurance Framework, or SQAA for short. The easiest way to think about it, it's a super detailed report card, not for the students, but for the school itself. At its heart, the SQAA is really a tool for self-reflection. This isn't about pointing fingers or punishing schools that are struggling. No, it's more like a guide that helps a school take a good, honest look in the mirror, see its strengths, identify its weaknesses, and then, this is the key part, build a real plan to get better. And the goals here are pretty ambitious. I mean, we're talking about creating an environment where every single student can really thrive. It's about getting them ready for this incredibly complex world we live in, building a culture of responsibility and innovation, and this is a big one, reassuring parents that the school is truly committed to always improving. So, how does this school report card actually work? Well, the whole SQAA framework is built on 7 foundational pillars, or domains. You can think of these as the main subjects that the school is being graded on. Okay, and this is where it gets really interesting. Just look at that weightage. A massive 40%, nearly half the total score, is dedicated to just one area: curriculum, pedagogy, and assessment. That tells you everything you need to know about what the CBSE values most. It's not just about the fancy buildings or the slick management. It's about what is taught, how it's taught, and how you know if students are actually learning. That right there is what this framework says is the absolute core of a quality school. So here they all are, the 7 domains. You've got that huge 40%er for what's happening in the classroom, and then the other 6, each with a 10% weight, cover everything else. The campus and its resources, the quality of the teachers and staff, making sure the school is inclusive for everyone, how it's managed, the quality of its leadership, and that last one, beneficiary satisfaction, well, that's just a fancy way of asking, are the students and parents happy? Are they being heard? Okay, so a school looks at itself across these 7 areas. But what do the grades look like? This is not a simple pass or fail system. The framework is designed to measure a school's maturity, seeing it as a journey of growth and development. There are basically 4 levels. A school at level 1, inceptive, is at the starting block. The basic pieces are just being put into place. At level 2, transient, things are moving along, but they're not quite consistent yet. Level 3, stable, is where a school has really solid processes that it uses consistently. And then you have the gold standard, level 4, dynamic evolving. These are the schools that have mastered the best practices and are always looking for new ways to get even better. And here's a perfect example to show you what I mean. Let's talk about computer labs. A level 1 school meets the basic requirement. Yep, it has a functional lab. But a level 4 school, it's playing a whole different game. It has a nearly 1-to-2 computer-to-student ratio. Digital skills are woven into every single subject, and parents are looped into the school's digital world. See the difference? It's not just about having the tool. It's about making that tool a core part of the school's very DNA. So we've got these domains, these levels, all these detailed standards. But why? What is the actual point of all this? Well, it turns out this entire massive framework is engineered with one single ultimate goal in mind: to help shape a very specific kind of student. And this is it. This is the payoff. Every single thing we've talked about, from the classroom curriculum to the leadership style, it's all designed to nurture students who have these qualities. You see, the aim isn't just to churn out students who can ace an exam. It's to cultivate curious minds, creative problem solvers, resilient risk takers, and responsible citizens. This learner profile, that's the true north for this whole system. Now let's bring this all home. And this is super important to remember. Hitting that top, dynamic, evolving level isn't the end of the road. That's not the point. The framework is designed to be a loop, not a finish line. The whole process is meant to be a cycle. A school assesses itself every single year. From that, it creates a real, concrete plan for improvement. It spends the next year putting that plan into action, and then the cycle starts all over again. It's about creating this culture of constant improvement, where a school is always reflecting, always growing, and always getting just a little bit better year after year. And that brings us to a final thought for you to chew on. Now that you get the 7 domains and the journey from just starting out to being truly dynamic, think about a school you know. Maybe it's your old school or your kid's school. If that school had to fill out this report card, totally honestly, what would it say? And maybe even more importantly, what would be the #1 thing on its improvement plan for next year? Thanks for joining us for this explainer.